I'm so happy to welcome you all here this morning on this little gray, rainy morning, but we're really starting the day today with great news. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Bonnie Nickerson, Executive Director of the Providence Redevelopment Agency and the City Planning Director. This morning we are launching a new tool in the city's toolbox to boost affordable housing. Yay! Come on, guys. That's awesome. The new Providence Neighborhood Land Bank program. The city is investing $8.5 million of American Rescue Plan funds to create the program that's going to be administered through the Providence Redevelopment Agency. Since the city launched the anti-displacement and comprehensive housing strategy about 18 months ago, we've been moving aggressively forward on all fronts to bring more housing online through revising policy and regulation, through implementing new programs, and creating new funds to invest in housing projects. And we're going to keep going. So one of the challenges we hear about regularly is finding suitable land for infill, small-scale projects and assembling land for larger developments. With our new land bank program, the Providence Redevelopment Agency will have the resources to acquire, assemble, and hold land if necessary, and transfer these underutilized and vacant lots to our small-scale developers and CDC partners to really focus on home ownership and just create more homes for Providence residents. The capital city is so lucky to have talented CDCs, and we just want to boost the capacity and amplify the impact that they're already having citywide. So it's really designed, this new land bank is designed to be collaborative with community members and stakeholders from the very beginning. So today we are opening up a call for nominations for vacant lots that we should consider and incorporate into our program. So please help us to spread the word and reach out with your suggestions for lots that should be considered. This new program is a true collaboration to move the needle forward on affordable housing. We're joined this morning by several of our key partners, but first I would like to introduce a true champion for this work, Mayor Jorge Elorza.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and thank you. I want to begin by saying thank you to Bonnie. Bonnie has headed up our planning department for the past 8 years, and there's really been a transformation in the department. And one of the aspects of the department that has received a full makeover is the way we utilize and incorporate the Providence Redevelopment Agency. We know that we have a housing crisis, an affordability crisis in the city of Providence, and we're using all the tools at our disposal, including the newer, enhanced, and frankly more capable PRA that we have because of Bonnie's leadership. So thank you, Bonnie, for everything that you've done and for helping to design this program. I think we can clap. I also want to thank our partners and stakeholders, Councilor Rachel Miller, who has been a champion for more affordable housing and on housing issues for quite a long time. So thank you, Councilor. And we also have two leaders in the affordable housing space, Jen Hawkins from One Neighborhood Builders and Sharon Morris from Omni Development. We appreciate all the ways that we have partnered and all the ways we will continue to partner in the years to come. So thank you, Jen, and thank you, Sharon. Last, I want to give a shout out to Tim. Tim is the Executive Director in the Planning Department that helps put this all together. So thank you, Tim, for all your work. So we have mentioned, and I don't think it needs to be said, but it deserves to be said, that access to safe, affordable housing is something that everyone should have access to. It's been a top priority in my administration for the past 8 years, and certainly as we wind down the clock on my time as mayor, it continues to be a priority. So this initiative that we're launching today really scratches several itches. On the one hand, it's going to allow us to build more affordable housing throughout the city. Hopefully, it'll help relieve some of the pressure, upward pressure on prices that we're seeing both in home ownership and in the rental market. It's also going to help to address blight. I can't tell you how many times I'm out in the neighborhoods and folks tell me about an abandoned lot that hasn't been maintained, that the weeds are growing out of control, and they want to figure out not just what the city can do about it, but how they might acquire it. So what we're asking the public today, any lots that you've had in mind or that you see in your neighborhood or throughout the city, please send it to us. Send us the information of the lot, and also send us information if you might be interested in acquiring the lot. This is information that we are beginning to compile so that we can have as effective a land bank program as possible. So all of these investments in this programming requires resources. So a couple of years ago, the City of Providence, we did something along with the City Council that we had never done before, and that's to create a dedicated stream for affordable housing construction. So just shy of $25 million was set aside in a partnership with the PRA and to help support the construction and preservation of affordable housing throughout the city. So I'm excited that with these $24.75 million, we are delivering more affordable housing options for our families. But that's not enough. We've also, during my time, helped to clear out over 700 abandoned properties that 8 years ago plagued our city throughout every neighborhood. Now those 700 properties are back online. We've taken action on major projects such as Paragon Mills, the old Barbara Jordan 2, and soon the Superman building. Each of these projects is going to have a transformative impact in their respective neighborhoods and citywide as well. So we have to do more, and we're constantly finding opportunities to do so. This initiative is going to be a partnership between the city, our outside stakeholders, and our residents throughout the city. I'm asking everyone to please go to providenceri.gov/land-bank. Again, that's providenceri.gov/land-bank. In this website, you'll get the information, the latest information on this program, and some information on where you could send details on these vacant lots that we've spoken about. So we need everybody's help in this endeavor. Thank you very much for all your help and support in anticipation in the public. And I also want to again thank both Sharon and Jen. The work that they do truly delivers for our communities and for our residents. And this partnership on the Land Bank program is going to help us take yet another step forward to make sure that we're addressing this housing crisis and bringing safe, affordable housing within reach for every resident. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Mayor. All of the city's work on affordable housing that you just talked about, from the Providence Housing Trust to the federal HUD-funded programs to the American Rescue Plan funded programs, are all possible because of the strong partnership that we have with the Providence City Council. I'm happy to welcome a tireless and fearless advocate for housing, Councilor Rachel Miller. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Bonnie, so much. It's really great to be here today. I want to thank Mayor Elorza and all of your team, Tim, Bonnie, Teresa, folks who aren't here, for the work that truly got us here to today. And I also want to thank the council president, Chairwoman Ryan, and the full council for their support of all of these initiatives. American Rescue Plan dollars were this once-in-a-generation opportunity. And this program will have an impact for generations in our neighborhood. It's a really incredible opportunity to revitalize our neighborhoods and create affordability. We know we're in this continuing affordability crisis. Neighbors are being priced out continuously in my neighborhood, I know in neighborhoods across the city. At the same time, some of the federal dollars that were creating more shelter space through the pandemic crisis, some of those dollars have dissipated. So we're in this kind of critical moment for increasing access to safe and healthy homes. The land bank is a win-win, as the mayor was saying, for neighborhoods as the city identifies blighted, vacant property, and as neighbors have more options for housing affordability. So we all know of abandoned property, and I can't urge enough, right? Like neighbors, folks who are living on the street know enough exactly which properties come to mind when you think of the overgrown and the weeded properties. So I encourage all residents to go to the website, fill in the information as best you can, and connect the dots in the coming months to alert the land bank to these locations. And then the PRA is going to turn those properties into desperately needed affordable homes together with our partners. Jen and Sharon, thank you so much for being here today. The Providence City Council is committed to working with the administration and community partners to find solutions to the affordability crisis. As Mayor Elorza has spoken to, the council partnered with the mayor and the PRA to fund this first of its kind $25 million affordable housing bond, which has become a catalyst for affordable housing construction during the height of the pandemic. And I'm just so thrilled to be here today as we take this next step into increasing access to affordability. Thank you.
Providence is lucky to have robust and strong CDCs advocating comprehensive neighborhood-based community development every single day throughout our city. Speaking of fierce and tireless, the executive director of One Neighborhood Builders is certainly both of those. Jen Hawkins is blazing forward to bring more affordable housing to Providence and beyond. Thank you for joining us, Jen.
Thank you, Bonnie. I am pleased to be here. This is a huge announcement. As Bonnie mentioned, I'm the executive director of One Neighborhood Builders. We got our start in the Omniville neighborhood, and Omniville, as anyone knows, has really transformed. Every tool that the PRA has unveiled, we have maximized. On Bedoin Street, a recent example, the PRA partnered with us we use the Affordable Housing Trust Fund that the mayor spoke of, allowing us to finance the construction of 8 affordable homes on lots that, again, the PRA helped us to acquire, bring together, clear the title for. These, the mechanisms that the PRA has, be it from financing to acquiring properties on our behalf, holding them while we put together all of the capital grants that are necessary to construct the homes, are indispensable. And I'm just thrilled that in the waning hours of this administration, they're not letting up. Every day that they are still here, charging ahead and coming up with these solutions for the crisis, we're grateful for, and we're proud to partner and take advantage of every single resource that's available to build new affordable homes in Providence. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. It's my pleasure. Sorry.
See, it's not just you, Steve.
TV reporters don't report to work till 10 o'clock.
You're on time.
Just saying.
It works.
I think I can review.
Thank you, Jen. It's my pleasure to introduce Sharon Morris, Executive Director of the Omni Development Corporation. Speaking of moving the needle on housing, Omni Development Corporation is doing just that here in Providence with the Joseph Caffey Apartments and Jordan Caffey Townhomes, creating 79 new units of affordable housing in Upper South Providence. This project is looking great. It's under construction. Go check it out. It's amazing. Welcome, Sharon.
Good morning, and thank you, Mayor Elorza, Bonnie Nickerson, and the PRA staff for all of your assistance during the underwriting process for the Jordan Caffey and the Joseph Caffey apartments that we're redeveloping in Providence. We are very, very fortunate that the City Council took the bold step to create the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Because of that program and that funding option, we are able to redevelop this development at an affordable price so that we can move 79 families back into the city of Providence. And we're also going to be developing for homeownership opportunities to the families in that neighborhood as well. I'm not sure if you guys know, but as I drive through the city of Providence, being a developer of affordable housing, I find myself pulling over, writing down the address of a vacant lot. So I'm finally happy that we have a tool that will allow us to continue to do this work in Providence. This new land bank is going to be tremendous because I'm not sure if you know, but it's very difficult to acquire, purchase, and hold on to an asset until you're able to find more property to redevelop. And at this critical time in housing, anything that the city can provide to us, we will willingly accept. I'm sure I speak for myself and the other colleagues that develop in the city, that we welcome it and we will take full advantage of this new program. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much to all of our partners. Really, that concludes our program. We're just excited to get to work. So send us the information about lots that you recommend, and you'll be hearing more about the program in the coming weeks. Thank you.
Hi. Affordable housing, that's a term we hear a lot, but it means a lot of different things. And is this really going to be affordable? I mean, because we have the building out there that's pretty much not.
So I think the short answer is yes, but the longer answer is we need housing at every range, at every income range. These properties in particular, I think they're going to span, potentially single-family homes, triple-decker homes in neighborhood lots, and perhaps even bigger developments on larger lots. So they're going to run the gamut. Wherever we can, we always work with our partners. We're also looking to work directly with private residents who want to build their own house. And the more that we can do to have folks who live in Providence, grew up in Providence, this is their home, stay in Providence, I think that's a win. And so, whether it means, extremely affordable, low-income housing, or 80% AMI, whatever it takes, we need to provide all of these options. And this kind of program is flexible enough that's going to allow us to provide for that full range. So I'm really excited about that, but it also includes, very low-income housing, as you referred to.
And when you say full range, are you talking about higher-end apartments into this as well? I mean, I'm just wondering what the cutoff
that's a good question. That's a good question. I think that potentially, but I don't think so. Not for this kind of program, because we're talking about previously abandoned lots, and many vacant lots that are easily developable have already been developed, and especially given this environment. What this is going to target are those lots that, without the PRA coming in and clearing title, without combining lots together, they just wouldn't be attractive. They just wouldn't be profitable for folks in the private market. So I doubt it. In addition to that, we mentioned the subsidies that the city can now provide through the Housing Trust Fund. All of those projects include affordable housing as well. So while it's flexible enough, and we'll see, I think it's very unlikely that high-end housing will be built from this. We're looking at a range from low income to 80 to 100% AMI.
So there wouldn't be any requirement that it's only affordable units within whatever price development?
I don't think so. Again, it's flexible enough, but this program primarily is for those small lots in the neighborhoods that are just blighted, unkept, and with weeds overgrown. You're not likely to see massive projects nestled within those neighborhoods. And again, for vacant lots that are on prime land, sort of prime territory, they've already been developed, or they will be developed by the private market on their own. Our involvement and our push behind this is to specifically focus on those lots that, without the PRA, without a housing subsidy, without our housing partners, just wouldn't be developable. The finances just wouldn't make sense. So again, there's flexibility built into this, but I highly doubt that much of any of the new units would be sort of the fancy higher end units.
And the outline there mentions small house plans. Do you mean like tiny homes?
Potentially, but not necessarily. So tiny homes is an option, independent of this. What this points to is there might be just a single lot, sort of infill housing, as Bonnie mentioned, or another way to think is a missing tooth. a neighborhood that's fully developed, but there's just one lot that for one reason or another just hasn't been developed. Oftentimes, the trick with those lots is that there's a cloud on title, and it's a very long and expensive process to clear that title. And frankly, no one. So speaking, as you heard from the CDCs, it's very hard for them to get financing, put a plan together in general, much less for a project that they don't have ownership of. And it's just not worth it oftentimes to go through the whole process and time, energy, and to put in the money to clear title on a lot that they may not be able to ultimately get title to and develop. So this is work that frankly only the city can do. So that's the focus of this project and of this initiative. And there are a lot of those lots throughout the city. So we're hoping that we can make a dent in the affordable housing crisis by tackling these lots that otherwise would continue to lay vacant.
I have just 2 questions.
Is that all accurate, Bonnie?
Yeah, can I
Yeah.
just clarify one, just noting that because we are using American Rescue Plan funds for the land bank, those funds do come with some criteria around the sort of target income group. So we are looking for projects that have these dollars. It would really be between that 60 and 80% AMI, because that aligns with the ARPA fund regulations.
So, and Bonnie, perhaps you can answer this. This will exclude non-buildable lots. This will not include lots that are not developable.
Right, this is to put lots in play for affordable homeownership.
And you have $8.5 million for this?
That's right.
Is that strictly, as the mayor says, to clear the title, to do the paperwork on this? It's not to clear these lots, it's just to make, or is it? I mean,
You mean physically
clear,
of degree.
right.
I think what we're interested in is playing the role that we uniquely can play to sort of unstick some of these problems. So the CDCs can certainly go out and, with their crews and construction crews, go out and clear lots. It's really kind of the back end of how do you sequence these projects when you're applying for funding and you need to acquire land. And so we're interested in playing a role to support and help.
Is it the intent that the city or the land bank take ownership of these lots and then convey them to the CDCs?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
thanks.
yes.
As part of that taking ownership would be municipal housing or publicly owned housing beyond cable? Like developing it in the city and building it yourself and then...
So I'm not municipally developed, but we are talking with the Providence Housing Authority. So if there were a circumstance where they are interested in doing additional developments, we certainly would be willing to work with the PHA.
Brownfields?
We have a lot of experience dealing with brownfields, and that can be a barrier. So absolutely, we would consider, we have funds to assess brownfields and remediate brownfields. So absolutely, that's a role that we can help play.
And does that fall into this program?
We have separate funds for brownfields, but that's some of the reasons why lots sit underutilized or abandoned, because the cleanup cost is unknown, and that's a deterrent.
Okay.
We're using ARPA funds, so there's a serious deadline we're up against, and other cities like Philadelphia that have land bank programs are being critiqued for a slow-moving process. So can you establish some type of timeline as to when we're going to start acquiring to building possibly with the developer?
Yeah, so the way the ARPA funds have been sub-granted, the ARPA funds of the $8.5 million have already been granted to the PRA. So that first step has happened, and basically we would be interested in working with CDCs and small-scale developers that have a timeline in mind. So not just endlessly holding lots sort of indefinitely, but playing a role as an intermediary to get the project built. So we are absolutely very aware of the timelines and want to make sure that we are using the funds to put more homes online quickly. That's what they're intended to do.
But we could hold on to properties indefinitely.
We can't because of what you're saying, and that's not the intent of the program. The intent of the program is to quickly get more units online and to unstick lots that are currently sort of in this sort of limbo land.
Will the land bank have sustainability moving into the next administration? And how will you ensure that?
So this funding is going to continue for several years, drawing down the $8.5 million. It's not going to happen overnight, so it'll spill over into the next administration. In terms of beyond that, I mean, we'll see. It depends on how successful this program is. It could be so successful that there are no other vacant lots to develop. That's one possibility. The other piece of this is that, remember, we created the Housing Trust Fund, and the Housing Trust Fund designates dollars specifically for affordable housing. Potentially, those dollars can be repurposed to continue a land banking program as well. So, there are no limitations on, when this would end or how long it can go.
All right, thank you, everyone.